Welcome to another edition of Smalltalk for You. This morning I wanted to take a look at exception handling in VA Smalltalk. VA has the standard ANSI exception handling mechanism for Smalltalk with a few small exceptions of things that aren't implemented in VA that might be implemented in other Smalltalks. I'll give you an example here. Let's do a simple divide by zero. We'll look for the zero divide exception, and when it happens, we'll do a transcript show of the error. So we'll just do this, and if all goes right, we should see a message in the transcript. And sure enough, we see up here, signal on exception. So we get a whole big thing here because I put a print string on it. Now if I just wanted the description, whatever it is, I could do this, EX description, or the message text. Again, this is the ANSI system, so things that will work in fair or visual work should work here. So we'll try this, and we're going to get a little less long-winded explanation out of this. And you see over here it just says zero divide. Now another part of the ANSI standard is resume, meaning if the exception is resumable, and to figure that out, you look for the isResumable message in the exception class, and if it's one of your own design, you can decide whether the exception is resumable or not, and you just tell it on the exception, just go ahead and resume as if nothing happened, so just basically ignore the error. So if we try that, you'll see that it's just going to go proceeding after this, and we'll execute, and there goes resume. One other thing, if you're trying this retry, if you're porting code from Pharaoh or Squeak or some other Smalltalk, you may run into this problem. You want to bring code over that uses retry using. So you divide by zero, find, well, can't do that. Well, it's just divide by two. You'll find that this isn't actually implemented in VA. So we'll do this execute, and we're going to get an exception because this guy is not yet implemented. Bring this up and you'll see right here, self error, not yet implemented. So they don't have that in VA, so if you're porting from some other Smalltalk, that's something to be aware of. One other thing I should bring up, there is an older exception handling mechanism in VA Smalltalk that's signal-based, somewhat akin to the old signal-based mechanism that was in VisualWorks for that matter, when some exception do. So you have when do instead of on do, and it's a signal, so it's an instance-based exception as opposed to the class-based system, which is the ANSI standard. Again, very similar to the old VisualWorks one, but it operates very similarly. 10 divide by 0, when, EX error, do, signal, and typically you would exit with some value. So you could exit with a nil or with some appropriate default value. So we'll try this with nil, and we'll see what comes back. We'll inspect it, and sure enough, we get back nil. So you'll see this littered throughout the code. If you go up here and do tools, browse senders of when do, you'll find there's a lot of these all through the system. So you'll find here an additive sequence, sequenceable collection prompter. So you see when, EX error, do, and then a signal. And typically they just exit with nil. So you see this kind of handling all over the system. This is kind of the older signal-based mechanism, and VA Smalltalk supports the newer ANSI class-based system. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with whatever Smalltalk you're using.